I think quite a few of you probably know Dreko and Steven. Steven's done a lot, a calculator guy for StrongBlock, um, tax calculator, and just really supporting the community. I don't know as much of Draco's past, um, so maybe he can introduce himself to the community. But I'd like to try to keep this to a maximum an hour. I'm sure everybody has lots of things to do, but this conversation really is just going to be an introductory awareness to what you need to do to keep your investments safe. Um, every day I come across people who have compromised wallets and lose much more than their nodes. So it's something that we want to have more communication on how to just set yourself up right from the beginning to avoid a lot of issues. So with that, I suppose I'll let Draco take the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for the introduction. So, quick little down and dirty about my history. I got into Strong Block in April, very end of March, beginning of April of 2021. I've been pretty much a Strong Block maxi from the beginning. I've learned a lot along the way. And my history that I've worked with is in security. So, it was something that I wanted to learn immediately when it came to cryptocurrency security. And I started to find out as I ventured into that realm that a lot of people weren't paying attention to security. So, in my opinion, and I think in the opinion of many people that are here, um, security and protecting your investments is one of the most overlooked things in crypto. I think people get into crypto and immediately they jump into the deep end and say, I just want to invest my money. And what they don't do is make sure that they're protecting their assets. And I think that's a huge mistake. And we're noticing that as, like, for example, I have my own community, Bourbon-n-Blockchain, and people are being hacked or people are losing their funds or clicking on the wrong links. And they're making simple mistakes that are easy to avoid if they just had the knowledge. So I think as a group, we've kind of decided it's on us as community leaders to make sure that everybody has the right knowledge to apply so that they can protect their investments. So that's part of the reason why we're here. This is a community-based event. I think we'll have more in the future because we want to make sure that everybody has the tools to protect themselves. So, and I think that it's very important that people need to realize some terminology. And one of the first things that everybody needs to know in this room, and when people are listening to this in the future through the recording, never share your seed phrase with anybody for any reason. There is never a reason for it. It is literally not a tool to be shared with anybody but yourself, and that is it. And once you have that number one rule in crypto security down, everything else is a little bit easier. There is no reason to do that outside of merging your accounts behind a hard wallet, or if you deleted, for example, the Chrome extension MetaMask on your Chrome and you wanted to put it on a different computer or something like that. That is the only reason why you need your seed phrase. Or if your computer dies and you want to reload your wallet, that would be another reason. But other than that, all of those reasons are you utilizing your seed phrase, not letting anybody else have it. So the number one rule is never share your seed phrase with anybody for any reason. Um, I think that that's paramount. That's the first step in security for cryptocurrency. Um, and then secondly, make sure that everybody here, uh, the device that you guys are using for your cryptocurrency trading and everything that you're using, make sure that it is a device that doesn't have previous malware or viruses on it. So if you have to wipe a computer to start using it from like a fresh reload, that's something to consider because who knows what's on that computer prior to you investing in cryptocurrency. One of the reasons and one of the ways that people get hacked is by a keylogger. And a keylogger is just malware that you've downloaded from somewhere, and it starts to track the keys that you're hitting, and it'll track the keys that you're hitting and comparing that to what websites are going on, and it'll figure out your password. So that sounds scary, and that's the most feedback I get when we talk about these security things is you scared me because I'm using, I'm making all these mistakes and I didn't realize it. So if you are using an old computer that has Windows 95 or something on it, you might want to upgrade and get an antivirus and a VPN to protect yourself from hackers.
This should be called Dreko's Scared Straight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy, when we try to tell people all the different pitfalls that you could fall into.
Yep.
It is. It's a scared straight tactic, but I try to give people real world examples of things that I've done and helped people with over the past, and it
Mhm.
is scary. It is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're in crypto, there's a good chance that at some point in your life you were into something like torrents, whether it be like BitTorrent or back in the day things like LimeWire. And if you ever used a computer for any of those things prior to crypto, you are incredibly vulnerable just from having downloaded, potentially not so savory files.
Yeah, absolutely. It gets even more in depth than that. So, for example, people in the community that I'm with, when you start investing into StrongBlock, that's a long-term investment, and depending on how long you've been in the project, you're going to make some returns. Consider protecting your investments and your returns by deploying some tactics to protect those investments. For example, uh, some people think that it's a really good idea to use a dedicated Chromebook or a dedicated computer just for their strong block in their crypto, because all they're going to do on that device is trade, and that is it. Now, what does that do for you protection wise, right? Risk mitigation. If you're not using that device to look at pornography, download emails, or anything like that, all you're doing is using it for crypto, you are greatly reducing the risk of being hacked. Also, you're kind of setting it up so that when you're looking for things and you're doing your research, that you don't stumble across something and accidentally lose your crypto, right? So if you reserve a device specifically for trading, that's a really good start. Let's say that you're not in like you're not able to do that. What you could do is open up a Gmail account that's specifically for trading. Okay, so what I see a lot of people doing, and the way that they've been targeted, is that they have, I'm just going to use the term, Bob Johnson. So if your name is Bob Johnson and you have a bobjohnson at gmail.com email, and you're using that to connect to all of these different crypto related websites, that's not good. And why is that not good? How many times has Gmail been hacked over the years, right? It's really easy to hack emails. So if I can hack your email as a hacker and see that you have all of these crypto related accounts, now I'm going to target you to try to steal your money. And that's what happens. So what you could do if you can't afford a completely separate device is when you're using Chrome, you can switch between different accounts. So if you have multiple accounts synced up to your computer, you could have, for example, let's say, crypto trader at gmail.com, and all you use that account for is doing crypto trades. And if you do that, that also protects you a little bit more because now you're doing everything separately from your personal email. Another thing to consider with that is when you're using that separate email, you can also save all of your favorite websites. It is very, very, very smart to save all of your websites for all of the projects that you utilize. And why is that? Well, Daniel can tell you firsthand why it's important to save your favorites instead of clicking and typing strong block every time and then clicking on the first link at the top. If you do that, you could be going to fictitious websites that are set up to take your seed phrase and to take your to connect to your wallet. So, for example, if right now, if you type in strong block and you don't put anything else in there, you just type in strong block, out of the results that you're going to get, most of those results are not the right website. And sometimes bad websites, malicious websites will pop up. And if you're not careful or you're not paying attention, you will click on the wrong website, connect your wallet, and you could potentially lose your investments.
And in some of
So,
those cases, the sponsored website will be the fictitious website.
correct. They're willing to pay for people to put it all the way at the top.
That's right.
So they want your money and they're going to pay to get it. Um, So one of the ways that you can, avoid that is by having all of your favorites listed, connected to your browser extension. So it's
Yeah,
very,
so
very important to do that.
yeah, to speak on that, there's a lot of things that you can do prior to set yourself up to not even see those things. So This is basically my process when I create a new hardware wallet or I'm looking to do things for crypto specifically. I personally have a dedicated browser just for using a wallet, and I use the Chrome browser. You can use Brave, and other browsers, but I immediately when I set up my browser, I go into the settings and I lock everything down. I don't log in with any of my information. I use it as a guest. Uh, the first thing I do is I go into the settings and go to the Chrome store, the Chrome web store, and I download Malwarebytes free extension for internet security that will alert you to any malicious links. And then I go and I load my MetaMask dummy wallet. And then yes, now that I have those things, I don't ever use Google to search. I always use DuckDuckGo for added security. And that's just a way for me to really filter out any malicious links. And then also to be running something in my browser that will alert me to malicious links and stop it from automatically being downloaded. I know that we ran into an issue this past week where somebody was sent a Nitro free gift, and it was from a friend whose Discord had been hacked. And so they had clicked on it, and that Malwarebytes in the browser, that extension had stopped that person from having that downloaded to their computer. So really, I mean, you want to set up your browser to weed out a lot of those issues. Yes, you want to bookmark the official sites, but before you even get there, there's things that you can do to protect yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's two things you touched on there. You touched on your settings, and you touched on a dummy dummy account for MetaMask. So one of the things that you can do is set up your MetaMask account appropriately as well. Leaving your MetaMask account open all the time, like on a computer, is a bad go. You don't want to do that. So if you go into your settings, you can set an auto lock timer on your MetaMask so that it automatically shuts off after a predetermined amount of minutes. So you can set it to 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatever. I think I have mine set on 10 minutes just in case I'm doing things and I want to continue to use it. That's a good practice. You also want to make sure that you have advanced gas control set turned on so that you can change your gas and you're not just using the suggested gas fees. And then make sure that your customized transaction nonce is turned on as well. Just in case you get a locked transaction or a stuck transaction, you can go in and automatically cancel it. You can force it to stop instead of waiting indefinitely for it to go away and then lose all of your funds. So make sure that you read and look up different controls and settings that you can use on your MetaMask. So that's another good thing to do. I think that it's important for people to, and this is a personal opinion, it's not a must, but if you're trying to protect your assets, I think everybody that's talking up here, and there's a lot of people in the audience that will agree, one of the best things you can do is get a hardware wallet. Get a hardware wallet. What is a hardware wallet? A hardware wallet is just so in order to get StrongBlock, you need to use MetaMask, okay? And MetaMask is a non-KYC, just open wallet. And your seed phrase is actually stored on the internet with MetaMask. By getting a hardware wallet, you're taking that seed phrase and you're removing it from the internet and putting it on the hardware wallet. And then you're making it so that your transactions that come out of that account need physical approval from you, the hardware wallet owner, so that things cannot be taken out of your account without your knowledge. So this is one of the most important things you can do. And people need to get that and look at that or consider that as a security step, because without that hardware wallet, you're leaving yourself open to any type of predator that's going to try to take your crypto. So consider that. There's a lot of hardware wallets out there. The two that I've used are Ledger and Trezor. Personally, I like Trezor a little bit more because it's easy to use and it's very, very simple, user friendly. But to everybody has their own opinion. You can pick whatever hardware wallet you want, and there's tons There's tons of information out there on how to do this, and there's so many people that would be able to help you and make sure that you get everything ported over appropriately. There's go-bys, there's videos. So if you're nervous about moving your account, trust me, there's help out there. People in this room right now, and to include the speakers, will be able to help you out if you get that hardware wallet and you want to move your MetaMask behind a hardware wallet and add yourself a little bit of extra protection.
Yeah, speaking about help in the room, one of the things that we will be implementing is a ticket system. Just want to let everybody know we are not official support. If you want official support, we can direct you to that on the official website. But we are community members working to help each other. And so we are going to create a ticket system. It'll be a little bit new. But that way, each person, when they have an issue, will have a private channel. So we are weeding out people from seeing your issues. That's one thing we're trying to do in the room to increase security. Second, I do have a tips on security room. Anything from 2FA to emails to security keys to how you can be compromised using a hot wallet and having tabs in the background. I will put more information in there. If you have feedback for things that you would like to see, just get a hold of me later. But then we also have videos in the treasure and the ledger room. We do have hardware specific wallet rooms with videos and articles in there. So yes, like Dreko said, we are here to help you and make sure you're safe, and we are also doing some things for Discord to do that as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're you hit on two different things there as well. So I think it's important for people to realize that you're responsible for protecting your own crypto. So ultimately, none of these projects are going to be responsible if you lose it, okay? And one of the main ways that you can lose your crypto is by sharing your seed phrase. And don't ever do that. We've already gone over that, but never share your seed phrase. But let's say you lose your seed phrase and now you're trying to say, "Hey, I'm trying to get back in my wallet." It's very important that you store your seed phrase appropriately. If you lose your seed phrase, you lose all of your crypto on that wallet. So, we've told people and we're suggesting to people to physically write down your seed phrase, like on a piece of paper or in a notebook. Spend the extra $5 to $10 to buy a specific crypto notebook that is special and hold on to that and store it in a safe place. For example, put it in a fireproof bag and then put it into a like a locked safe. It's very important that you don't lose your seed phrases because again, if you do, you're going to lose it forever. I will also tell you, do not save seed phrases on your computer or on your phone. I repeat, do not take a picture of it on your phone. Do not type it into your phone. Do not screenshot it. Do not type it into Word. Do not put it into Google Docs. And I'll give you an example why. I know I'll give you two quick examples. Example one, somebody took a picture of their screen with their seed phrase on it, and they also had the wallet open on their phone. So what they did was they opened up MetaMask account on their computer, then they ported it to their cell phone so they could have access on their cell phone and on their computer. They took a picture of the device and the seed phrase, and then when they were surfing around on the internet, they got compromised, and the person literally took all of their funds within seconds because they had access to everything. They had access to the MetaMask account, and they had access to their password and their seed phrase because it was right there on their phone. So make it difficult for somebody to take your funds. I do not suggest, and this isn't a personal opinion, I do not suggest that anybody has an account that's attached to their nodes on their phone. Do not do it. Your phone is one of the weakest devices for security that you could possibly have. You're constantly connecting to different apps. You're constantly connecting to different Wi Fi sites. You're constantly connecting to Bluetooth. Do not, I repeat, do not connect your phone to a MetaMask account that has your strong nodes on it because you're literally just opening up a security breach. Your anything that has strong nodes on it should be locked down behind a hardware wallet and have only one way to get into that wallet. And what do I mean by that? you can open up multiple MetaMask windows on multiple devices to access one account. So, for example, you could trade out of the same MetaMask account on a Chromebook, on a computer, and on a phone. All you're doing is defeating your device if you do that. You should only have one hard wallet and one account, and that is it. If there's multiple examples of that account out there, delete them immediately. If it's on your phone, delete it immediately. Back up your seed phrase and delete it. Another way that you can back up your seed phrase is by doing metal hardware wallet. Like I guess they're called like little like wallet protection devices. And what you can do is they're made out of pure aluminum, and the heat rating on it will pretty much withstand a house fire type heat rating. So if you put your device and you put all your seed phrase within that metal wallet, it'll keep your seed phrase even if your house burns down. Which brings me to another point. If you write down all your seed phrase passwords, don't just write them down on a piece of paper and then leave it in your desk drawer. Plan for the worst. Remember, risk mitigation doesn't stop with your browser on the internet. It also extends into your personal life. If your home, God forbid, your home light's on fire and you lose your computer and you have that written down seed phrase, all of your crypto's gone. There's no getting it back. It's gone forever unless you memorize it. If you're not capable of memorizing it, like I'm not, then you need to have multiple extensions of that written down. You should have one written down and put it in a safe, and you should consider getting a metal wallet so that you have that as well, just in case you have a house fire. Other people in the past have also suggested that they take a written example of their seed phrase and take it to a bank, and you can store it at a second location and put it into one of their safety deposit boxes. Then, if your home lights on fire and you lose everything, you still have access to all of your hardware wallets. All you have to do is order new hardware wallets and upload your seed phrase, and boom, all your money's still there because it's all on the blockchain. It doesn't matter what happens to the physical hardware wallet, everything's still there. So, something to consider is to do that. But I started off with giving you the example. So, one person took a picture with their phone and they lost everything because they had their seed phrase on their phone and they had their MetaMask on their phone. Another example is an individual. He stored all of his passwords in Google Docs, and he had everything in there from 2015 till now. So he got targeted because he went into a Telegram room and clicked on customer support. And what they did is he downloaded something that started looking through his computer. So he had a virus or malware that he downloaded on accident, and it found that Google Doc from 2015. So it just kept searching until it found things like keywords. Well, it found passwords, and the name of that Google Doc was Crypto Passwords from 2015. And he's had a hard wallet since 2015. And what was on that wallet was a lot of Ethereum, multiple Bitcoins, full Bitcoins, and he had his StrongBlock on that same wallet. He had one wallet. Everything was gone. And he reached out to me, and I helped him kind of try to figure out what happened. When he clicked on that link, the one thing on his computer that he saw that was downloaded and removed and copied was that one file. That was literally crypto passwords. And he hasn't even opened it since 2017. But when he opened it, he looked at the properties and it said it had been looked at within the last 48 hours. So somebody found it, copied it, took it, and literally stole all of his funds. So do not store any passwords on your computer. And I don't care if your computer is the most locked down computer ever. All computing devices have security breaches. All of them are vulnerable. It is way safer just to keep it completely off the internet. Don't even compromise, because all you're doing is leaving it a little bit of a window for somebody to take advantage of you and steal your funds.
Yeah, one of the things that I don't think a lot of people realize is that if you open up a hot wallet, let's say MetaMask, that's saving it to a file on your PC or device. And even though that's encrypted, that can be broken, especially if you end up downloading a Trojan. So that's something to consider. We had an issue with being raided in the room and some malicious links being sent out, and that ended up being a Trojan. And if you end up compromising your computer or your device, your your information isn't secure, and they do have access to that, and they do have ways of breaking that encryption.
Yeah, it's hackers are smart and they know that they can take these steps to try to steal your funds. So make it harder for them. Deploy all of these things if you can to protect your own assets. Because if you don't protect your assets or treat your assets as if they're valuable, somebody else will, and they will go at great lengths to steal them from you. So the other point of the second example that I gave you, this individual had everything on one hardware wallet. Now, the common theme that we're talking about here is risk mitigation. How can we mitigate risk by that example? Do not put everything you own on one hardware wallet. It is not a good thing to do. It's easier, it's more convenient, but think about that. Think about those statements. If it's easy and convenient for you to use, does that make it more easy and convenient for somebody to steal all of your assets? The answer is yes. So let me give you some quick examples. The numbers you can do whatever you want with, but maybe consider a certain amount that is too much for you to lose. So if you say $10,000 is a lot of money for me and I could not risk losing that, then maybe consider not putting more than $10,000 on a hard wallet. Once you hit that limit, open up a new hard wallet. Diversify your investments. If you say that $20,000 or 30,000, whatever your number is, make a hard limit and stick to it so that you can protect your investments. The same goes for StrongBlock, right? That's why we're here. We're the StrongBlock community. Consider not opening too many wallets or too many hardware or strong nodes on one hardware wallet. If you get compromised, let's say you go through all these steps and you still get compromised and somebody starts stealing your assets, you could potentially lose all of those nodes. So how many nodes is too many nodes to lose? That's your decision. You're the investor, not me, right? So consider setting a limit. I won't, let's say that you decide I won't put more than 10 nodes on a hardware wallet. That might be a good decision for you. If you have more funds and you're willing to risk more, then maybe it's 20 or 30 or 40 and you won't go over that number. But potentially consider the risks that if you have too many on one wallet, they could all be gone. Now, in the future, they're talking about being able to move nodes around and all types of things like that. But as of right now, as it stands, those nodes are attached to that one wallet. And if that wallet is compromised, your nodes could potentially be gone. There is no way to like really recover that as of right now. So be careful with your investments, diversify your investments so that you don't lose everything. And at the same time, make it harder for the hacker to steal all your funds. If they get one hardware wallet and they get everything off there, and you have four hardware wallets and you're evenly diversified, you've only lost 25% of your investments instead of 100%. So again, risk mitigation, consider those things while you're trying to make this easier on yourself and trying to protect your assets. Stephen, I know you've had some examples of people that have lost things in the past. Do you have any other examples that we can consider?
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to bring up a few. So, I mean, there are just many ways that people have been compromised. Probably the most common is clicking on some malicious link. I don't know how many of you were invested in Olympus DAO, but like every Olympus fork, as well as Olympus itself, had links being sent out for something like download this desktop application. uh, Clearly a huge no-no. Like you shouldn't ever be downloading anything from any link you receive. I think Dreko's already talked about this. And if you really think that it is a legitimate link, please ask your community first. This is again something that Dreko talks about, but you have a trusted community. Wherever that trusted community is, go there, ask them, do a screenshot of the link, say, is this legitimate? It will almost always certainly not be legitimate. Please don't click the link. Don't download anything. Um, that is absolutely the biggest thing. I think that I don't know if this was mentioned yet, but one of the other ways you can have your funds sort of taken is by allowing a protocol to access your funds that is an unsavory protocol. So if you go onto a protocol that says it is StrongBlock or that says it is SushiSwap or whatever it is, and you give that protocol allowance to spend your funds, well now they have allowance to spend your funds, and they can do that. So please, as Dreko mentioned before, please bookmark your links, or use trusted repositories of protocols. Like I love DeFi Llama. If I'm going to start looking at new protocols on new blockchains, I'm going to go to DeFi Llama to do that instead of surfing the web. Because if I'm surfing the web, I'm probably going to click on some unsavory links. And if I for some reason give them access to my wallet because I want to do some investing, well, there's a chance that they can then take my funds.
No, those are good points, and that also brings up if I'm going to look for let's say a cryptocurrency, and let's say it's StrongBlock, right? That's why we're here. If I want the official website for StrongBlock and I want to connect to their application, I use trusted websites to find that. So I don't just look around or Google it. What I do is I'll go to, for example, DeFi Llama, or I'll go to CoinMarketCap, and the websites are listed on that website. The official
Mhm.
websites are there. So use that to your advantage. Do not just go it alone and try to figure it out, because you might type in the name of the project, StrongBlock, and you might see strong blocks with an S and think that that's it because this is your first time connecting to that application, and you could just make a simple mistake. So use the trusted applications to find those websites. Don't just go it alone. And
Yeah.
you also brought up a really good point. If nothing is that serious, like I say this, but nothing is so serious that you're trying to find help, and I've seen this a lot too. If you need help, if you want to recover your Bitcoin or recover your strong block, nothing is so important that you need to get into Telegram or on Discord and say, I need help immediately. Don't put red flags up like that, because that makes you a target.
Oh, geez.
Go to
Yeah.
go to your trusted communities. Like everybody should have a trusted base, like a home base where they can talk to people and trust their friends and get advice, right? So, for example, Steven's got his Discord, the Calcs, and we're running Bourbon-n-Blockchain. If you have an issue, go to your people that you know and say, "Hey guys, I can't access my account, or my account is locked, or I can't access my strong block." Go to them first and see what people know or what's going on. Then start reaching out to the bigger communities like strongblock.io, and make sure that you're listening to people like Daniel and the mods, and that they're giving you good advice. Do not start posting large, like big help me things, because you're going to start getting private messages saying, "Hey, I'm part of the customer service for your this, given project. Click on this link and we'll unlock your account." That should be a huge red flag. And you should talk to your community. If you're like, I really need help, I should click on this link. First, go to your community of trusted friends and say, should I click on this? I guarantee you, your friends will pop up and say, no, don't do that. That's bad. So just be careful. Don't get so wound up that you need to do something quickly that you make mistakes, because then you could lose all of your assets.
And if you see anyone who has a won't DM you first, you can probably assume it's not them. So if you start posting
Blue.
like, "Hey, I need help," and you get a message from Daniel, you get a message from Dreko, me, or Lex, or God forbid, David Moss himself, probably not any of us. Especially if they start saying we're customer service, we'd like to check out your seed phrase really quick just to make sure everything's cool, and then more assets are gone.
Absolutely.
One
Uh,
other
Go
common,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, no, you.
One other common hack. I haven't seen it as frequently, but it is you'll find suspicious tokens in your wallet.
Mm,
They may be named any number of things, and they may appear to have a really high value. So maybe you see some tokens in your wallet that you never purchased. You might think, oh, maybe I got an airdrop, and the value is at like $10,000, $20,000. You're like, wow, what a lucky day. But you can't sell those tokens on something like SushiSwap, or you can't sell those tokens on Uniswap. You can't sell those tokens on any large exchange. You have to go to a very specific proprietary exchange to sell those tokens. And what's really happening there is you're connecting your wallet to that scam exchange, which then has access to your funds.
yeah, that's a common one. And another less common one, I'll get to here in a minute, which is downloading nefarious NFTs. That I've only heard of it happening a few times, but you could put a bad NFT in your wallet, and then eventually, apparently, you can get airdropped, and it kind of targets you, right? So that's something to consider as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So another thing that we've heard of, again, this is a reason why not to have any of this on your cell phone. But this would also apply to a laptop or Chromebook if you have a dedicated trading device, such as a Chromebook. Do not, I repeat, do not just randomly have your Wi-Fi set up to connect to any old Wi-Fi. Make sure that you're only connecting to trusted Wi-Fi access. If you're traveling and you need your crypto with you, make sure you're connecting to your cell phone or a hotspot that you've purchased that has not been compromised. There's a famous video out there of an individual who's retired law enforcement that was really into crypto. He went to a boat dock. He connected to a Wi-Fi that he's never connected before to. He logged into all of his, accounts. He did not have a hard wallet. Um, Apparently, a keylogger, a malware, came with that Wi-Fi connection that he was connected to. And the next time he opened up his Chromebook after doing trades in the middle of the day at the boat dock, everything was gone. He got completely wiped. So, in that short span of connecting, he put in his password, he entered his account, and he took out and, moved funds. That's everything that hacker needed to access that account. So do not just randomly connect to Wi-Fi. Bring your Wi-Fi with you. Most of our phones nowadays have that Wi-Fi hotspot that you can utilize. It might cost you a little bit more money. I can't, assume what your internet costs are, what your plan is, but it would be way cheaper to do that than to lose all your crypto. I think we can all agree on that. So don't risk it and just connect to random Wi-Fi. And then one of the last things that we'll talk about here that I have on my list, using your dummy wallet. So dummy wallets are 1 in 1,000. What a dummy wallet is, I call it a dummy wallet or a Sherpa wallet. And the reason why I called it a Sherpa wallet is because when you remove, so like let's say that you're listening right now and you have all of your strong nodes on MetaMask right now. You have the option to take that MetaMask account and merge it behind a hardware wallet, which removes your password and your seed phrase off the internet and puts it on a hardware device. That is a good option. That's something you should consider. Not financial advice, obviously, but this is something to consider. There's a lot of information out there that we can provide you to do that. Once you do that, um, you're going to obviously have more protection in all of those things. But then, in order to have that hardware wallet connect to all of the same websites and have all the functionality that a MetaMask account has, you need to open up a new MetaMask account for the sole purpose of connecting to other websites and having functionality. A Treasure or a Ledger does not have all of the same access that a MetaMask account has. MetaMask accounts are very, very versatile. They can get on multiple blockchains. They can hold multiple tokens. For example, Ohm or whatever your DAO project would be. In StrongBlock, StrongBlock is not native to any of those hardware wallets. So you're actually copying your MetaMask account and you're putting it on the hardware wallet, which is a whole different process, right? But in order to still utilize and connect to all those websites, you open up a dummy or Sherpa wallet, and that Sherpa wallet drags your hardware wallet around the internet and allows it to connect and interact with all those websites. That dummy wallet, you can just literally discard at any time. You can open up a new one and just connect your hardware wallet to another one at whim. So what you put on that dummy account is up to you. So for example, I'll use mine to get into new projects. I'll give it like a feeler. I won't put it behind a hardware wallet until I understand or I'm comfortable with that project. And then if I get comfortable with that project, I can either move my assets to an already existing hardware wallet, or I can make that dummy account into a hardware wallet itself. But the reason why I bring this up is because let's say there's a new NFT project out there and you're just aping in it because it's fun or whatever. You haven't done a lot of research on it. It's not very expensive and you just want to give it a shot, right? I would highly consider putting that NFT on a dummy account and not on the same account that you have all of your strong nodes on. And I would say that with any project, if you have a dedicated one wallet with all your strong nodes on it, stop using that hardware wallet for all these other projects because you never know what that project's going to do in the future. You never know what that NFT that you purchased has in its code and it's starting to track what's going on and it's got a keylogger or something on it. So diversify your projects into different wallets. Consider putting your DAO projects on one hardware wallet. Consider putting your nodes on one hardware wallet. consider putting your Bitcoin and Ethereum long-term holdings on its own hardware wallet. Again, diversify risk management. But yeah, I think that utilize those dummy wallets because, for example, there's projects out there that tank right away within a couple days or whatnot. I think it's just a safe practice to diversify those projects.
All right, I just want to make sure people can hear me because when I chime in, it seems like it cuts out for some people. But I wanted to bring up the fact that yesterday we ran into a fake app on the Android store for DBank, and that app was asking for seed phrases. It was brought to our attention, and eventually it was taken down. But that brings up a point where, yes, you don't want to be moving so fast that you overlook these security issues that you shouldn't be doing. Again, like we stated in the beginning, don't ever put your seed phrase into a third-party app or a website or form. So this malicious app did affect people and did compromise wallets, and so I always try to slow down, check a couple different sources, not click on the first link that I see, just to try to keep myself aware. Early on, I don't think I've told a whole lot of people in the very beginning when I started in crypto, I got scammed for the whole send me 1,000 tokens, I'll send you 2,000 back. And luckily, I didn't send everything that I had. That's something was a learning experience for me, just an eye opener to the amount of scams that are out there. So definitely slow down, definitely check more than one source, ask. You would like to think that an app on the store, iOS store, or I know iOS is a little bit better, or Android store. But ultimately, there are malicious apps on there. You can always go to the website and create a link on your phone to circumvent using an app. But just stop and think about how much of your information is being taken by the app you're using, or if they're asking for a seed phrase, that's a red flag.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
go
I
ahead.
think that we also have I know that we were thinking about doing an hour. I've gotten some requests for questions. I don't know if we plan to pad in some time for those.
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah, we can move into that.
Before we get to that real quick, I just want to say that this also brings up, and what you said, Daniel, is really important. Don't move so fast that you make mistakes that you're not catching. And on top of that, this isn't specifically about wallets, but it's about community. Consider who you're surrounding yourself with. We're all adults here. Consider surrounding yourself with like-minded, positive individuals that have your best interest in mind. There's a ton of communities out there that'll do this. But if you are not surrounding yourself with those type of individuals, like you're like with the bad crowd in college or high school, right? Don't do that. You have that choice. Find a place that's like your home base where you have trusted individuals that you can talk to about these things so that you don't make really big mistakes. Like, hey guys, I found this great, opportunity. If I give them my Bitcoin, they'll give me two back. Hopefully, you
Mhm.
are in a community where people will tell you, hey man, that's a scam. Don't do that. Like, I can't click the buttons for you, but I can tell you that doesn't sound right, right? Why don't you pause a little bit and reconsider that investment? But with that being said, yeah, let's go ahead and take some questions.
Looks like we have Metaverse on stage. You're currently muted.
I know I just had to add something. Watch out for new friends or internet friends. They will try to social engineer you and later on maybe send some malicious links. And then now you have trust in them because you have spoken with them like 1 month or 2 months, And that way they can also like scam you.
That's a really good point. An example of that, when I was in another project, Hector DAO, I did some trades really fast. So I took some tokens off the staking, and then I sold them and swapped them and restaked. And when I did that, I did it so fast that I lost a portion of that. So I posted in the general chat, which has 35,000 people now, and said, hey, can I get some help from one of the mods? This is something I did, but I don't want to waste your time and go to the wrong person. And within seconds, I got 2 messages from quote unquote mods that wanted to help me, but instantly I knew that they weren't mods because A, they weren't on the list, and B, they were trying to coerce me to give them information to help me. Well, the only thing they should need is the transaction so that they can see the transaction, and that's it. Anything more than that, I knew would be way too much. So I made a mistake there. That's me telling you, don't do what I did. Don't make the same mistake. Don't make public information that's private. I made a mistake, my bad, but I learned right away there are people, malicious people, that are waiting to pounce on you and take advantage of you. So that's a really good point, Metaverse. Be careful of who you're talking to and who is trying to become your friend, because ultimately, 99% of us in this room do not know each other. We've never met each other, so you do not know what their intentions are.
And to quickly piggyback off one thing that you said, if you understand what information is necessary for assistance, you're going to be in a much better position to receive that assistance or to decline malicious assistance. So Dreko knew that the only thing someone should need in order to look at the transaction, see what happened, was the transaction hash number or the transaction hash ID, whatever. And having that information and knowledge was one additional ballast against malicious attacks.
Yeah. And it could be as simple as, hey guys, I think I'm missing some funds. Talking to your community. Again, hey guys, I'm missing some funds. What should I do? And now I would say, hey, why don't you just message this person directly? They're a mod or they're a whatever it is, or ping them and say, hey, so and so, I need help. Hey, Steven, I need help, and at them so that they can see it in the general chat, and then start a conversation that way. Do not just put all of your information out there for somebody to take advantage of you. Do we want to take some questions? So Sam K's been patiently waiting. Bring him up here and answer questions.
Yeah, I think he's been invited. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, hold on a second. You can always ask your question in the main channel and we can get to it. Seems as some people can't hear when I talk, so I'll try to keep my talk to a minimum. But if you have a question, please just post it in the main channel and we'll get to it.
Yeah, and if you wanna, let's see. I'm gonna try to read and not have too much dead space here, but I'm trying to read. Oh boy, there's a lot.
Oh yeah, so we also have some people who are unable to raise their hand. So I see we have eMoney who would like to ask a question. So if she could put a question in the chat, that would also be helpful. And then Sam, I think we tried to get him on stage, but that didn't work either. So should this be in the AMA questions or in the crypto general? Where should they post their questions?
Yeah, just post the questions in the main chat, just a strong chat.
Strong chat, okay.
Yep.
One question that we have in there is, what time is the blockchain security 101? It's now. But don't worry, we're recording this. I'm gonna work with Daniel and Steven to see how they want to disperse it. But we are recording this right now, and it will be available in the future.
Macy Lonery, can you ask the question through text here? I see that you have a question. We also have thoughts on 1Password or LastPass for storing passwords. Do you want to tackle that one, Dreko?
What is it again? What's the question? Oh, thoughts on 1Password or LastPass for storing passwords. I'm not familiar with those, so I don't want to sound ignorant and answer that. I'm not familiar with those products.
Should we be using a VPN at all times?
I don't think that you need it at all times, but if you're trading, right? If you're interacting with your wallet and other dApps or applications, yes. If you are just, doing your normal talking on Discord and whatnot, then I don't think it's necessary. Me personally, I pay for the service. I have NordVPN, and I just literally have it run all the time. If I need to disable it in order to do something, and then I just turn it off. So Mine runs 24/7, but I pay for it, so why not?
I see someone asked, do you recommend Trezor or Ledger? I already know what your answer is, Dreko, and I tend to agree. Do you want to go ahead and say Trezor?
Yeah, I prefer Treasure, but I don't like. We're not sponsored by them. We don't make any money off of them. I just like it. I've had both Treasure and Ledger. I think Treasure is easy to work with, and it has way less problems. Um, so the old community that I used to be with was Cryptonaires, and I had a great time over there, and I did security over there as well. And the most common problems we would have is syncing up and having Ledger and Ledger Live work with everything. It's just a pain in the butt. So if you want to avoid that as an issue, Treasure is way simpler. It's just got two buttons on there, and I think it works really well, but that's my personal opinion, and it really isn't worth that much. Just ask my wife.
I see another one. Um, do you mean different wallets on the same Ledger device or multiple Ledger devices?
Great question. So let's talk about terminology just really quick. It's very important to know what you're saying and saying what you know, right? So a MetaMask account is like your seed phrase and all of the wallets on there. So when you open up a MetaMask account, I think it comes with 150 wallets or more. Um, all of those wallets can be accessed through that one seed phrase. So when I say put an account behind a hardware wallet, that's your seed phrase. A wallet is just a wallet. It's just it's attached to a seed phrase account. So I'm saying, for example, myself, I have 8 hardware wallets. Each one of those hardware wallets has a seed phrase for each and every single one. And each of those hardware wallets can have multiple wallets underneath of them. Some of them just have one, some of them have two or whatever. Yeah, I'm saying that each and every account that you make should be on a separate hardware wallet with a seed phrase. That protects your assets. If you have multiple wallets with one seed phrase, let's say you have nodes on 5 wallets and they're all on different wallets in one seed phrase hard wallet, then you are literally just as exposed as before. If they get into that one hardware wallet, you lose all of that. So yeah, the terminology is important there.
I think there's two more good questions here. One of them is from eMoney saying that they watched your video, and this may be yours, Dreko, or it could be Lex's, about moving their seed phrases. They said they screenshot it on their MacBook because they have dyslexia, but they deleted it immediately, but they're still concerned. So I think that's part one, and then part two is just sort of a comment that Ledger does not support AVAX, which is a big barrier for a lot of people since Avalanche is one of the largest EVM blockchains out there.
Yeah, so the screenshot thing, you're not going to like what I have to say about it. I'm going to give you the right answer, and then you do what you will. The right answer is once you've taken that screenshot and it's been on your computer, it never goes away. There's metadata, there's all types of stuff. I'm aware of devices and software that can recover information from hard drives for years and years and years, even though it's been deleted. Okay, so the real answer is you're in a pickle. You're gonna have to be very careful with what you do with that wallet. If you have strong nodes on it, unfortunately, you're just gonna have to limp by until you're able to transfer those in the future. If you don't have strong nodes on there and they're not attached to that wallet, I would consider going through the process, which is just time intensive, and moving all of your stuff off that wallet and creating a new wallet. That's not what you want to hear. That sucks, but that is the safest way to deal with that process.
And then there was another one saying like, "Oh, I think this you probably get this a lot, Draco," which is, "Oh my gosh, I'm so worried now. I don't even know where to start. So I feel like I need a complete overhaul because I'm making all these mistakes. Do I need to buy a new device? What do you recommend? I'm currently using my phone."
So I'm sorry. So the question is what device should I use for this
Yeah,
instead of
effectively,
my
what
phone?
device should I use? Where do I start? If they are currently utilizing their phone for virtually all of their uh, crypto ongoings, where would you have them start now?
So personally, I think that it's a good idea to use a Chromebook, and there's so many different ways that you can utilize a Chromebook, and there's various prices. You can buy a $300 Chromebook, and if all you're using it for is crypto trading, that's more than enough. So I would say get a Chromebook, and then you can take that Chromebook and now put multiple logins under that Chromebook, right? Multiple accounts. And one of those accounts that you put on that Chromebook is just for trading, just for crypto. So that's what I would use. And then there are tons of websites out there that can show you how to set your Chromebook up and have your security settings set really high so that you're at less risk of losing information. One of the things that you definitely don't want to have set to on is to sync your information. If just keep that off. You don't need to sync your information between computers. You can do that physically by yourself. So all that information's out there. But yeah, buy a Chromebook. Buy a $300 Chromebook. Wait for one to go on sale. Stick with your main Chromebook developer, such as Acer and like the big names. Don't try to buy just some rinky-dink garbage, because garbage in, garbage out. But yeah, I would consider getting a Chromebook.
So there are a few more questions, sort of like related to the specifics of migrating things on different ledgers and hard wallets. I think we're gonna sort of maybe address those later or help the community out with some links. But some of the other ones that maybe can be answered a little bit faster are: do you recommend connecting the Chromebook to another third-party firewall, such as Jumper, for extra protection?
I'm not familiar with that, but I think Chromebooks are pretty darn safe. They are a pretty secure platform to use if you're using it appropriately. The only other thing that I would suggest to use is an antivirus slash anti-malware product. I personally, again, none of this is promotional. I'm just giving you ideas of what I use. So I said that the VPN that I use is NordVPN because it's tried and tested, and it's been around for a long time. And I use Bitdefender. You guys can do your own research on different devices and things like that. And I would say Bitdefender is pretty darn good, and it's rated really well. And I've tested it myself. You can go to websites that test your antivirus and your malware and download things on purpose to see if it'll catch it and whatnot. And it does a pretty good job. So yeah, that's what I would consider. I'm not really familiar with the third party, whatever that was.
I think it was firewall. So
Yeah.
the two more, well, one question and then one statement that I think we've said, and it's good to reiterate. So I'll say that statement first, which is security tip. This is from SithNode. Hey SithNode, love all your stuff. So turn off auto connect to Wi-Fi networks on phones. I mean, this is huge. Huge security flaw where one could potentially spoof as public network. Once connected, have access to your phone. Definitely. So please don't do that. Turn off auto connect on your Wi-Fi. I mean, particularly if you're using crypto on it, but that's just a good like security hygiene practice. And then
Absolutely.
here's one for you: is MacBook a good computer to have your nodes on?
So I know people that do that. I think MacBooks are pretty darn safe. But again, at the end of the day, really, all of the onus is on the user. You're the one that will make the mistake of giving out your seed phrase and whatnot. So it doesn't matter what device you use if you share your seed phrase. So knowledge is the first step in all of this. That's why we're doing this. All of these other things are just to protect you from the rest of the internet. So yeah, I know people that use them, but there are some dApps that do not work well with Apple. And I also know there are some hardware wallets that will not work with Apple. So do your research on those things or talk to your community to see if that works prior to buying those items, because they can be expensive.
All right. Cool. Well, I think that more or less covers the questions that I see in the chat. I guess we can wait one more minute for any questions. But
Yeah, we can basically just do a summary and I guess close it down, as we are going on an hour. We could probably talk all day on this, but we can continue conversation in the chat and provide information later. I would like to have more of these so we can build off of this as we go.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, as we go into the future, we can, my group, we're trying to get into creating more security content and videos for everybody, and some go-bys. But maybe as we go in the future, we go through some of these steps as a group to show people how to protect themselves. So yeah, I like that a lot. And I think we should definitely continue this conversation, because I think that, again, this is one of the most overlooked aspects of cryptocurrency, is protecting your investments. Everybody knows how to open up a MetaMask account, but do you know how to protect it?
right, yeah, definitely. Well, Daniel, thank you for being a gracious host and having us here. Hopefully, this has or will save a lot of people some money in the future. My statement is that I'm always bullish on good karma. I imagine Dreko has a ton of it from the amount of money that he saved people, and safety that he's provided for people. So it's always a pleasure being on stage with you, Dreko.
Yeah, you too. I just like listening to your voice. You're an awesome dude. And Daniel, you're great to work with. I'm happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me here. It's a pleasure and an honor. And I think that again, it's really important to surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that have goodwill. Find groups that do that with you, because that's important, and it keeps you positive, right? And this is one of those times in the crypto business where things are kind of going in a downward direction, but
Yeah.
don't let that bum you out. Just find a good group and keep going forward.
Amen.
Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Let's do some of this more in the future. And again, thanks Dan for bringing us up here and talking to everybody.
Yep, appreciate it. Thanks for being here. And we'll work on putting together another one of these maybe in a couple weeks. But we are also trying to get an official rep from Ledger or Trezor to try to do an AMA for us as well. It's just going to be a little bit more difficult for us to coordinate that, but that is in the works.
I like it.
Very cool. Well, guys, have a fantastic rest of your day.
Yep. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your weekend and stay safe out there. And if you have more questions or you need more stuff, start posting about it, and we'll try to get you the links and the information you need to do what you want to do. So let us know.
All right, we'll see you later.
Have a good one.